Hi guys, Mike here. Hope you're doing well. So, we have another review for you of yet another horror film. Although, we'll get into why I don't quite think this is a horror movie. But hey, let's get into it. So, me and Matt went to go and see They Will Kill You, which stars Zazie Beetz and is a very got a lot to talk about this film. So, I'll give you the premise of this movie. Basically, woman gets a job as a maid in this strange hotel where she's trying to find her sister, but it turns out these people who live in this hotel are a satanic cult who is trying to kill her and sacrifice her so they can maintain their immortality. Yeah, that's literally the plot of the film. However, if I was to tell you woman has to survive being killed by psychotic cult people while trying to mend her relationship with her estranged sister, it does sound eerily similar to Ready or Not 2, which came out recently, which we actually did a review for recently. Now, when I saw the trailer for They Will Kill You, I remember looking at it going, this seems very similar to Ready or Not. Why do we need another Ready or Not? We've already got one. Why do we need a movie that's basically the same? Until I saw the film. And the core of what it's going for is very different. Sorry, did I just spit on the camera? I do apologise. The core of what they're going for is pretty much the same premise. But the way they execute it and the style they go for is very different. So let's get into it. On Cody Leach's channel, go and see Cody Leach. He's my favourite YouTuber. He put a review out for this movie and he summed it up perfectly in one sentence. He said, it's as if Kill Bill was directed by Sam Raimi. And I remember looking at that going, that's actually the perfect explanation for this movie. That actually is spot on. I can't get any better than that. I give him credit for that. But hey, let's get into what me and Matt thought of They Will Kill You. First of all, Zazie Beetz is a great lead. You get really invested in her character. She's just a complete badass in this movie. I mean, you get really invested in her tracking down her sister, trying to reconnect with her sister, and she's going to be slaughtering these satanic cult members every step of the way, and you are just fully on her side. She's a great lead character, and she's a total badass. It's great to see her just hacking people up left and right. So cool. You have a great cast of supporting characters, I guess you could say. You've got Patricia Arquette, you've got Heather Graham, who, side note, this woman does not age. How does she look the same now as she did in the second Austin Powers movie, which was 27 years ago? Yeah, 1999 it was. Honestly, she looks the same then as she does now. This woman does not age. And you've also got Tom Felton in here from Harry Potter. It's great to see him in quite a different role. But yeah, it's just a great, fun cast of characters. And yeah, this film, as I said, this film is very different in its style to Ready or Not. Rather than just it being a survival movie where you just have to survive, basically being killed by these cult members, you have a real kind of martial arts kind of style to it. This is where the Kill Bill element comes in, because the way they film it is really good. The way the camera just pans around and you can see everything that's going on. I don't know about you guys, but whenever you watch like the old school Bourne movies, they always had kind of like the shaky cam thing where there was obviously fighting going on, but you couldn't quite tell what was happening. You were like, what? And I hated that because it gave me a fucking headache, honestly. But this, I think after John Wick, where, this was like an action... Sorry, it's going off in a bit of a tangent here. But John Wick, where you could see everything that's going on. All the action scenes were seamless and, you could just see everything. I love the fact I feel like it kind of took inspiration from that, as amongst, actual martial arts movies. But yeah, it was great to see like the fighting style in this, where it's not just her kind of backed into a corner fighting for her life. No, she actually is trained, and you learn that because she learned to fight because she was an ex-convict and she went to prison, and I love that. That's great. This is a very short film. I think it comes in about an hour and 34. I think I might have got that wrong. It's something like that. This is a very short film, which means it's very fast paced. You do not have to wait for this film to start. It gets in, gets out very, very quickly. But that's what I want. Sometimes you just want a good 90 or so minute movie that just gets to the point. None of this whole kind of, when are we going to get to the fucking fighting? When are we going to get to the point? None of that. It just gets in straight away, and I love that. Not that I have a problem with, like, not with it, I need a lot, I've got attention deficit or anything, but I just like when a film just gets in, grabs my attention straight away. Perfect. The gore and the violence, yes, this is on point. I mean, the thing is, this is not a spoiler at all, but the fact that you've got all these cult members who are literally being hacked to pieces, like limbs are coming off, heads are coming off, fucking eyeballs coming out, but because of their pact with Satan, they're immortal and they can't die. So she literally hacks them all up and then they just get back up again and put the head back on. And you're like, oh, fuck. This is going to be a little bit harder than we thought. But yeah, I love the violence and the gore. Perfect. Now, when me and Matt were talking about our review, we were kind of thinking, is there anything negative that we didn't like, something we didn't like about this film? And this isn't really a nitpick, but it's something that I did say to Matt, and he actually went, oh yeah, I do kind of agree with that. Once you learn that it's not like Ready or Not, and it's got its own unique style to it, that's great. But once you get into the story of it with her and her sister, it's a little bit too predictable and a little bit too straightforward. I would have preferred a couple more twists and turns. Again, it's a small little, maybe kind of asterisk sort of negative of like, I would have begged maybe a couple more surprises. There's a couple of reveals where, now for me personally, feel free to disagree with me in the comments. I think there's a difference between a reveal and a twist. A reveal is where it's like, oh, okay, so that's what that is. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. A twist is where it's like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? And I just would have preferred a little bit more of that, because once you get into it, I wasn't like sitting there going, there wasn't really many surprises. I just thought, oh, okay, so we're going to do this, which is still a fun time, don't get me wrong, but I just would have wanted a little bit more to kind of keep me guessing, keep me on my toes of where the fuck are we going with this. But yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry guys, another kind of short-ish review, but that's basically my review of They Will Kill You. I mean, it's a fun film. It's a tight little film. It gets in, does what it needs to do, and gets out. As a rating, I would say definitely a flick with friends. And also some drunk friends. Because this film, I feel like you could get a lot more out of if you have a few beers going. So yeah, absolutely, guys. I wouldn't say necessarily add it to your collection, but it's a fun time with your mates. So yeah. Okay, guys, that's my review for They Will Kill You. If you like what you saw, remember to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.